Yo people, it's your boy Guillyy here, and before I say anything, Happy New Year. We're finally in 2026. I hope you lot had a great time celebrating. Hope you went out with your family, had lots of fun. With the start of the new year came the end of a show many of us love, Stranger Things. Now, the last episode of Stranger Things came out on New Year's Day. I haven't spoken about any of the new season in any of my videos, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I thought of Volume 1, Volume 2, and then finally, which the video is on, the final episode. And Volume 1, I was a big fan of. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I did have some critiques, but none that were like extraordinarily like terrible. That's all well and good. I thought Volume 1, great start. Volume 2, now this is where it gets rough for me. I didn't really enjoy Volume 2. I thought it had crazy amounts of problems. I thought it had plot holes. I thought it had acting issues. I thought it had just terrible writing. Too many jumbled up storylines. Like, I had a lot of critiques for it. So I was very skeptical coming into the last episode. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to be completely transparent here. I did not think they could bring it back. I'm going to be honest, that was my thought. That was my prediction going into that last episode. I thought it was just going to end a complete mess. And I guess the question I'm answering now was, did the Duffer Brothers and did Stranger Things stick the landing? And it brings me a lot of pleasure in my heart to say that I believe it did, yes. Whereas I don't believe it was the best thing that could have happened, or I don't believe that it was like absolutely the best episode we've seen in Stranger Things. I don't think that at all. It was a fantastic episode, and I'll give it to them. It was an amazing way to end the show. I don't have many complaints, if any at all. Like I'm saying, maybe I would have preferred something that was like a contender to be one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the whole show. And to a lot of you, that probably is a contender, but to me, probably not. But like I'm saying, it is still one of the better episodes of the whole show. Fantastic way to end it. I didn't think they were able to piece that all together, but they managed it. I'm really, honestly, quite glad for them because I criticized them a lot. Yeah, I became skeptical of this show for the last, past 2 seasons. Ultimately, I'm a massive fan of the earlier stages of the show. Like, that was when I really, really loved the show. Season 1, Season 2, that dark, gloomy vibe. That was like my sort of style, my drift. Obviously, them diverting from that in the newer seasons it was a decision. It was a decision they made. They preferred it. A few other people preferred it. I might not have, but all I wanted was for them to end the show well. End the show well, give it a good ending, and I'll be happy. Fair play to them. That's what they did. This is going to be spoiler free, so I'm not actually going to go into depth about any of the specific stuff that actually happened in this episode. I'm just going to talk about sort of the more vague stuff, the stuff I enjoyed, stuff I didn't. And yeah, I guess let's just go straight into it. I'll start off positive. The way they ended it off, and I mean ended it off, I mean like that last scene, or that last couple scenes, them segment of scenes, I thought that was brilliant. Honestly, like amazing. And the way I think they done it was they set up quite a few spin-offs, it seemed like, putting these people into their groups, saying like, we're gonna go to this location, they're gonna go to that location, and giving people their couples and partners. I thought that was quite exciting, because it seemed like, oh, these lot are gonna have more adventures somewhere else in their groups, and maybe we'll see more of them. Do I think that's actually going to happen though? Probably not. But it was good to think that either way. Yeah, there's not much more I can say without actually going into detail. There was a couple emotional moments. And whereas I can see it would make like a few people cry, I didn't personally. For people that are probably a lot more connected to the characters than I am, I can definitely see how it could have made them shed a tear 100%. And ultimately, I just think it's an incredible way to round off those stories. A big issue I have with Volume 1 and Volume 2 was the main characters I grew up to watch and loved didn't really seem like main characters anymore. There was just too many people. So the one thing I really had struggle sort of contemplating in my head was, how do you satisfy the viewers and how do you give them enough action from each character to just, like, how do you make up for that? Because there was a complete lack of that in Volume 1 and Volume 2. How do you make up for the lack of action with the main characters of the show? And I'll give you my number one example, Mike. Like, whenever I watch Stranger Things, I always thought of Mike as the main character, if not top 3 main characters. I hated just seeing him completely slandered, like, in this past season. And I'm so glad, so glad that he's got so much more action in this last episode, because that is 100% the exact route I would have gone down. And it just makes sense. He's got connections to Nancy, to Holly, to Eleven, to Hopper, to Joyce, to Will. Like, he seems like the person that's controlling the relationships with everyone. He seems like the middleman, I guess. So I was really happy to see how much they included him in this episode and how much they made him a big thing. Another thing I would say I thoroughly enjoyed was Lucas and Max's relationship. I thought it always has been fantastic, but this was actually one of my only positives for Volume 2. Their relationship just stands out among all the others. You know, Mike and Eleven, Nancy and Jonathan. Like, their relationship is just so much healthier and so much more pure. That carried a lot of the emotional / romance parts of this show, I guess. Again, I was really happy to see that come into play again for that last episode. Yeah, overall, just a great experience to watch. It was incredibly fun, and you can't ask for much more with a show like Stranger Things. You want it to be exhilarating, you want it to be fun, and they provided that in the last episode. I won't say too much about Volume 2 or anything. I'll go on a bit about my negative. I don't have many negatives. If not, I don't think I have any negatives in specific for the last episode. So I guess I'll just bring them on from Volume 1 and Volume 2. It feels like this show has become a lot goofier in terms of acting, not in terms of the actual content, because, you know, you see the cave stuff and all that sort of stuff. Like, there is no problem with that being goofy. With me, it's just more the acting and the dialogue, the writing just seems so incredibly, like, kiddie and childish and goofy, which I would have completely understood within the earlier stages, I guess, because they're like kids. But why is it that the earlier stages are so much darker and well thought out than the later stages of the show? Again, that's the problem I kind of have that I can't let go of. Yeah, there was quite a few plot holes, but the way I like to think of it is the plot hole side is more of a, I guess it's more for someone that really analyzes something they're watching, because I just thought there was so much stuff that just didn't make sense. And I'll say only one in this example, because a lot of it is just like smaller stuff that, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but does it impact the story that much? Not really. So I'll say one that I would say impacts the story quite a lot. When everything was getting melted in the scene with Nancy and Jonathan, how is it that they are completely unbothered? Like, they don't get burnt, nothing melts on their skin when it's touching them, but to do with like concrete and bricks and like the whole roof melting down, how doesn't that do anything to them? So like, I just genuinely don't understand. That seems like something that would so like easily be fixed. But anyways, if one of you lot out there has the answer to that question, then please let me know. I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm not gonna go into way more detail. I think that's good enough. I hope you lot enjoyed it. If you have watched it, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it, then come back, let me know your thoughts. If you have watched it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm ready to have a couple debates if anyone here disagrees with me, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably will. I hope you lot have a good day, a good week, and peace.